Hello, my name is Bertch, and this is my oral assessment. I'm sorry that my camera doesn't work, but there's not really anything I can do about that. To introduce my question is, how early are economists able to recognize an economic recession or an economic boom? The reason why it's important to find the answer to the question is in order to determine how the trends of unemployment, education, and other private capital investments can be indicative of the current and the future states of the economy. The reason why this pertains to an economics question is because of the effects that occur throughout an economic recession or boom, specifically changes in market shares, GDP, and the overall productivity of the economy. Although there are trends and indicators you can look at, such as yield curves, unemployment data, and GDP change, there's no surefire way to look into the future and be certain in a prediction of an economic boom or recession. Many times, economists can only tell the current state of the economy and what needs to happen in order to change it, or what should happen. Booms and recessions are oftentimes not recognized until right in the middle of one. To answer the question of how early economists are able to determine an economic recession or boom is heavily reliant on how closely the current state of the economy matches up with previous historical data and trends. I feel that there's no way to really predict the future, and economists use really like history repeats itself as their only way to determine these predictions. So here are some examples of how data has indicated change. Um, as you can see, the yield curve has become inverted each time shortly before a recession begins. And right now it seems to be on a downward slope, so it's possible that we will experience another inversion soon. Unemployment rates also have skyrocketed at the start of a new recession. However, not much can be said for unemployment rates leading up to the recessions. The Standard & Poor's 500 market index also seems to take a large hit during economic booms and recessions especially. Um, Not much indication can be said before other than it goes on a downward slope. Um, in addition, housing prices have fallen drastically before the beginning of each recession, as well as GDP output. It inverts prior to the start of recessions. And although there are many trends that can be found once in the middle of a recession, and you can kind of see the market and how it affects each recession, how it affects all the trends, you can't really say how the trends can show leading up to a recession and changes in economy before it happens. Um, some restrictions that I found was that the system which economic booms and recessions occur is so large and complex and intertwined with human psychology that determining when these events will occur is extremely difficult. Nobody can be sure completely when predicting the future. An assumption that I would need to change in order for my answer to be incorrect is that every time the business cycle restarts, it will take the same amount of time to reach the next business cycle. I'm very confident in my assumptions because of the fact that if business cycles were also predetermined, then so would economic recessions and booms because they really closely follow the trends of business cycles. However, business cycles are not something that can be determined either. And then here's my sources that I used. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed.